witness strong female character. In the end, when she falls down from the star to earth, it's like she's reborn. It's something that's very particular for a sci-fi.
That's one more time a film coming to rescue my life. After Children of Men, that was a complete commercial flop. You know, it's when it was released, nobody saw it. The reviews were lukewarm, and suddenly the appetite to work with me completely went boom, down. And I said, okay, I don't care, like same as it in Mama. So I start writing and developing with Alfonso Cuaron, my son, a film that I start prepping. That it was a road movie with our cast was Charlotte Gainsbourg and Danilo Tori, and it was a road trip from the south of France to the north of Scotland, and it was in French and in what is called traveler's language in Scotland. You know, yeah, it's obviously it was very difficult to finance, and the film fell apart. At the same time, what was happening in my personal life, I was going through one of the worst periods of adversities that I lived. And one more time, I was completely out of money, but without a lot of monetary responsibilities. And when it fell apart, I told Jorge, I say, I cannot lick my wounds. I need to write something right now, but no arty shit. I need to write something that can be appealable for a studio just to pay a check now for me to keep on going. And that same evening, we came up with the whole outline of Gravity. That credit is to Jonas that said, what do you want to do then? He had written a script that then he later directed called Desierto. It says, you know, that no dialogue, and it's just, you know, like the chase about that. And he says, I would love to do something like Desierto. Okay, but like, which film do you think that you would? I said, well, I don't know. And of all films, I said, Dead Man's Cape by Bresson. I says, okay, but that's good. And he said, yes, but if you're going to do it so you're not unhappy, he has to do something that is relevant to you. What's happening to you now? No, he says, you now. He says, so, okay, it's like shit is coming on shit and coming on shit and coming on shit, and you don't see the end. And I said, well, pretty much that sums it all. He says, okay, let's do that. And he said, but what do you think can sell? And I said, I don't know, some space movie. And stupid me didn't know that space movie didn't sell, because all the space movies in, I think, Star Wars, they have flopped. You know, unless it was fantasy, the space movies, they have gone south. But I said, yeah, I don't know space movies. Okay, let's. And says, okay, what do you feel right now? He says, I just feel I have to go through all this stuff. I just want to put my feet back on the air. I said, there you go. I said, but I mean, well, how do you feel? He says, I feel like I'm falling in the damn void. He says, there you go. And thanks to him, we started structuring the whole thing, and that was, I says, you see, at the end, maybe you do a personal film by doing this. And so I went to the studio. Very soon, Warner Brothers said, okay, we're going to do it, but we're not going to give you much money. And I said, that's fine. I called Chivo and I said, look, it's a silly film we can do against a black drop with some actors with cables. And he read the script and says, you're crazy, you cannot do that. He says, let's try it. So did a test and it was terrible. And we realized that there was no technology to do the film. And so, thank God there was an executive that was very geeky, that we started throwing ideas and he got excited. So we developed the whole film like for 3 or 4 years technologically to be able Fincher told us, forget about it, there's no technology, maybe in 6 years. And he was sort of right. And then James Cameron says, well, yeah, you can do it, and this is the way. And I said, yes, but that's a $400 million movie, only you can do it. He says, well, yeah, that's the thing. So we had to develop our own thing that accidentally, when we did the system, what we did is what now they're used to do the Star Wars and all of those. It's called the volume. I don't know if you know about it. There is a big screen of LED lights.
Yes.
The LED that projects the image that you want behind as opposed to green screen. And we were using that for lighting, and because we didn't trust, and still I don't trust the volume. And so we developed all of that stuff, and I was blessed with Sandra and George in a very crazy the shoot itself was very short, very, very short, because in many ways is more than half of the film is an animation. So I got to exercise the whole thing about I want to do an animation one day, because I had to be animating the whole thing.
You won an Oscar for that movie. It was the first Latin America to win an Oscar, and for a movie that in the beginning you don't want maybe to do.
No, it's not I didn't want it. I didn't know it was going to exist unless adversities and this other film fell apart. It's one of those things that just like come and again, that film saved my life. And yeah, it was the thing about the Oscars and stuff is that Gravity studios, they test their films. They have audiences and stuff that they test, and they do a number. And they tested Gravity, and the thing says, guys, you cannot test it. You know, this film needs to be finished so people see it. So what people will see would be like crude cartoons of what was going to be, combined with a close-up of Sandra Bullock, and then combined with some crude kind of spaceships. It looks so. She would say that he liked that version better, but looks so weird and stuff. And so it was testing so bad that the studio was kind of not very happy about it, except a couple of executives. The head of the studio calls me one day and says, I'm very, I had a good relationship with him, and says, sorry dude. Remember, he said, sorry dude, and I said, oof. He says, but I had to sell half of the film to this other company because we need to minimize our losses. I said, well, it's your money, probably you're right. But then it's one of those things of amazing places like film festivals. The film opened in Venice, and the response was amazing. And from then on, Sony started doing amazing, and the studios suddenly started loving the film. The marketing people were behind. They loved it, but kind of like the more finance aspect, they didn't like it. And now everybody got behind the whole thing. So yeah, at least at the end it was like a sweet ending for the whole story.